What's up, guys? Just finished the third episode of House of the Dragon, and I thought it was a good episode. I just wish there was more action. We didn't get to see action until near the end of the episode with Daemon. Basically, this whole thing's taken about 2 years after King Viserys decided to take the hand of Alicent Hightower, who has just had a baby. Well, takes place 2 years later, and now the baby Aegon is 2 years old, and she is with child once more. Rhaanne is still bitter about the whole thing because, he married her best friend or confidant, and didn't really didn't really ask her how she would feel about it, and so forth. So there's still some bitterness. Also in this episode, they're trying to marry off Rhaenyra because she is of age. She is 10 and 7, which, if I'm understanding correctly, meaning she's 17 years old. From the looks of it, she was 14, 15 years old in the first episode. Now, fast forward 2 years later, she's now 17. So she's at that age where she is to be married off. Now, she's not too happy about that because she feels that, I'm a bargaining chip because now you have Aegon. I am no longer in, although she's already still second heir, and the king even said so. Oh, so you thought because I have my son now, he basically, overrides her? No, she's still my heir. She's still second. He will become king when it's time. I'm simply not gonna let my son, even though, yes, that's my son, overtake her position. No. That's how she is. Because it seemed like a lot of people were assuming that, well, now that he has a male heir, she's no longer in line to the throne. He goes, oh no, she's still in line for the throne, like it or not. So a great celebration because it's the son's celebration. I don't know the word for it. But we do meet a member of the Lannisters, which is kind of funny because we all know the fate of the Lannisters, how they turned out. Well, this takes place 200 years prior. So Rhaenyra's, she's 17 years old. She's a teenager. What do you expect? How a teenager to act? She goes on her own way, and Sir Christian goes with her. And they seem to have an issue with the boar. A boar comes out of nowhere, and after like a brief battle, they kill the boar. As this is happening, word of the stepping stones continues. The king doesn't want anything to do with it because he's just like, well, you guys got yourself into it. You guys can get out. But with Alicent Hightower, she brings the king to go, okay, well, this is aid. What's better for the Crab King to continue doing what he's doing or vanquishing? He goes to send aid to help his brother Daemon because he's leading this army to, sort of take back the stepping stones from the Crab King. When Daemon hears of the aid, he goes, oh, hell no, I don't need your help. No, absolutely not. I don't need your help. So he goes as bait because every attack they did, the Crab King's men will go into the caves. So someone has to bring them out the caves to being the bait. So he gladly does so because Crowtley, I believe his name is Crowtley, who is the husband of the queen that never was, the cousin of Rhaenyra. He, pledges allegiance to him because he feels offended by Rhaenyra's bride of choice because they were trying to give their daughter off to him, and he said no. So out of both spite and bitterness, they seem to sort of regret their choice, but to avoid mutiny and avoid another war on their hands, they stick with them because the brother of Courtly is about to cause a mutiny. He goes, I will not have you cause a mutiny. you will do that? You are on your own. Do you really want to piss off this man? I mean, I've already probably most likely pissed off Rhaenyra. I do not want to piss off his brother, blah, blah. So Daemon decides to take on this position. You know what? As a way if I could show my brother I don't need him, I never need him, I'm going to do this just to show I can hold my own. And he does. Matt Smith, my God. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of happy. I'm very, very happy he took on this role because it shows that he can do more. Because before watching Doctor Who when he played, Dr. 11, I've seen him play various characters, whether it's supporting roles or, he was in one episode or a supporting role in another show. And you see he can deliver the goods, but it just didn't seem he was given more elbow room, more chance to expand. And this one, it shows that he is a badass. I mean, he was always a badass before, but now it's expanded. Now it seems like he's made a good, stable position in his career. And as you can see that Daemon is being a badass. He's taking on these guys, dodging arrows, getting wounded, beating the crap out of guys, slaying and doing all this cool stuff. And then once the signal has been brought, the dragon goes and starts, crisping up everybody, incinerating everyone. The rest of the army goes in for the fight. And then Daemon goes after the Crab King because he descended into the cave, which is kind of weird because it looks like the Crab King, for some odd reason, the Crab King, I don't know the name of him. I just know that he's called the Crab King because of his brutal methods of torture, of how he goes about, because he lets the crabs eat the people he sort of crucifies or impales. So it's weird because it seems like he has some sort of skin condition. Then again, he's out in the sun a lot and he's out on the water, so it could be just mere sunburn. But for some odd reason, he reminds me of a lot. If you guys have watched The Kingdom of Heaven, it was King Edward. No, it wasn't King Edward. I'm going to look it up real quick. Kingdom of Heaven. And this starred Liam Neeson and Orlando Bloom. I was about to say Orlando Jones. King Baldwin. Okay. King Baldwin in Kingdom of Heaven, he always wore a golden mask. And a lot of people would ask him, what is that? He was a victim of leprosy. I don't know if this is what the creators were intending to, or it just worked like that for character design to make him look scary and otherworldly. But for some odd reason, the vibe that I got from the Crab King was almost like King Baldwin from Kingdom of Heaven. They both wore masks. It looked like they were trying to conceal their faces. So one did it so to avoid, people casting him out because of his leprosy, because during those times people who had leprosy were thought to be punished by their sins, and therefore they were cast out, they were shunned. This guy, I don't know if it's just, to scare people, make them more fierce, or if that's just how, because the environment they're in and so forth, that's how they are. But it's kind of weird because of the rest of his army looks as if they were wearing the attire as you would see back in ancient Mongolian days, Tibet and Attila the Hun, things like that. That's what the vibe that I got, desert Huns, how I could say. But when he first starts to he goes like this, go. It just seems, and I don't think he ever spoke. As far as I know, I don't think he ever spoke. He seemed like, I don't know. It just seems like he was very, very dissociated with the reality. But he seemed very cocky, and I guess when he saw that now he's on his own, he walks in, and Daemon goes after him. The only thing that I'm disappointed in is that you don't see a fight. You know, it seems like the Crab King hid behind his army without lifting a finger on his end, and when it came to be torturous and sadistic, he would take great pleasure in, hence being a sadist. But Damon comes out and he's dragging the half of the Crab King with him, and I was like, man, my only criticization would be like, I would have loved to have seen a fight between these guys, because he's coming out, he's all decked in blood, and they win the war. I would have wished to have seen a fight or something, because, or like a fight with a big ass crab. Hence the Crab King, a secret weapon or something. But no, we don't see a fight. We just see the guy literally split in half. But man, most of the whole episode was more of teen angst and the king, having trouble, people breathing down his neck, of trying to marry his daughter off, and his wife is being patronized by her father to try to get the king to come to his senses. There was a lot of less action in this episode. A lot of less action, or a lot of I don't know. I think this episode could have been more, but we do see in the next episode, episode 4, something's gonna happen, because it seems like now Damon is now King of the Narrows, or something like the Narrow Sea, something like that. So we're gonna have to wait for next Sunday to check it out. So my thoughts on episode 3. Could have been more action. We don't see action until near the end of the episode. So could have used more action, less teen angst. But then again, what can you expect from Rhaenyra? She's a teenager, and at the same time, you married her best friend. How the hell is she supposed to act? She just says, yes, you're my father, but you're also the king. Do what you will. But still, it's just like, just when you thought they were being on good terms and they were now having a good father-daughter moment. I don't know. But yeah, those are my thoughts for episode 3, and that's what happened in episode 3. Yeah, it is what it is. Maybe you guys can help shine some light on certain parts that I may have missed. If so, leave a comment down below. Don't be shy, I don't bite. And let me know. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Hit me up, like, subscribe, favorite, share, do whatever it is you guys do. And, again, don't be afraid to subscribe or leave a comment down below. So, hope you guys have a wonderful day out there, and be safe, okay? Bye.